Ian, sorry about that, mate. Right, basically ready. Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the little delay getting started for tonight, but we are back here on the Motive Racing channel on Project Cars 2 for the GT4 Championship. This round 4 of this 15 round season. Tonight is races 10, 11 and 12 of the season. We're at Fuji Speedway in the shadow of Mount Fuji for what should be a great night here. The first time we've raced at Fuji in the GT4s here at Motive, but I have commentated on a race at this track in these cars a very long time ago. It would have been about 3.5 years ago when I did a commentary at Robbings racing in these cars around this track. But that's obviously, as I said before, very much a long way in the past, and yeah, it should be refreshing here tonight. I'm joined in the commentary box as usual by my good friend Emo Guy, or otherwise known as Ian. Ian, welcome along, mate.
Always a pleasure to be here, and just looking forward to another night of fantastic racing.
Definitely so. We've got currently 12 drivers in here tonight. I think we're expecting Totally Zero to jump in a little bit later on, but not quite sure if he's going to join us for race 2 or 3, but we're expecting him to be out on track a little bit later, so that'll be good to see. Obviously, it did say John Boy left the session, but he did rejoin, so that's all fine. He did actually end up taking the fastest time in the practice as well there, so John Boy by 0.6 of a second quicker than anybody else in the practice. But obviously practice isn't too representative. A lot of drivers run light fuel loads, a lot of them run heavy fuel loads, so it's not all going to be, it's not the be all end all what your practice time is. But nonetheless, we've got 12 laps with one formation lap, and it's a long lap here at Fuji, Ian. So with that taken into account, they're going to be doing slow speed, and it's going to be hard to keep those tyres up to temperature, isn't it?
Yeah, like you said, there is a good few straights in this track, so they need to do their best to try and keep the temperature in, because once you're going up at speed, there's nothing really, without the heat in those tyres, you don't really have anything else really keeping you on the track, because these GT4s don't really have the best amount of downforce.
They certainly don't. So it's going to be about being able to generate as much temperature as you can, causing as much friction with the surface as you possibly can on that formation lap. But yeah, coming into tonight, obviously we've seen some great racing in the GT4s. We've had a couple of drivers drop out of the championship. Unfortunately, we've lost LFRD and Champ have both withdrawn from the championship, so we are 2 men down. But we've got Em Afford jumping in tonight as a reserve, and we've also got Craig back out on track as he was last week. We've also got Park Cooper returning to the track after being away last week. Big Blue as well back with us after being away with work last week in Belgium. So plenty of drivers here, and hopefully some exciting action as well. We've got Totally Zero saying hi, good day. Looking forward to the commentating. Well, we're looking forward to being able to provide you the action as well, Totally Zero, and hopefully see you out on track later on. I know that you were saying that you might be, but I believe there's a bit of load shedding going on in Totally Zero's part of South Africa at the moment, so he will be on when he's on. Unfortunately, that's the way it is in that part of the world at the moment.
Yeah, he just put that into the chat, so he's still waiting on power.
Which is obviously a shame, but we will see him when we see him. But getting ready to go forward this formation lap. Ian, Fuji Speedway, a track that we've both driven in the GT3s on this game. Obviously dry conditions tonight. We've both driven this track in the wet, and it can be a exciting beast in the wet, but in the dry, what can these guys expect, do you reckon?
Oh, I can the tyre drop off make me quite bad here, given that the tyres are going to have to be working overtime due to the lack of downforce on these cars. You don't really see GT4s driving in here, because obviously, in Japan they have their own racing series, but I don't believe they have that many with GT4 type of class. So it's definitely going to be a difficult one for them to try and juggle the fast pace along with tyre management.
And obviously, it's going to be frantic action as well. There's no pit stops, no mandatory pit stop in these races, so it's not like you can come in for a tyre change and get away with it. It's basically going to be, like you say, it's going to be There's going to be nowhere to hide in this one at all. Emafford starting on pole here tonight as a reserve, or racing, as obviously he hasn't been racing, so he hasn't scored any points, hasn't put any points on the board, which means that he is able to start from the front with the reverse grid based on the championship standings. What can he do from the front? Part Pooper could be a dark horse here in this one, starting in second. Obviously missed last week, so his points a little bit down on where you'd expect him to be. But we know that he's got plenty of pace as Part Pooper, you know, in general, so he can definitely do some damage from there. Big Blue as well. What can Nick the Villa do? He's had a difficult season so far in the GT4s. We know that he's very quick in the Clios and the touring cars, but it's not been the introduction to these that I'm sure he would have wanted in the first 3 weeks. But nonetheless, let's see what he can do. John Boy missed the first round of the season, and as such is a little bit down the pecking order in the championship to where we'd expect him to be. He starts in P7. Can he make quick progress and try and steal the march on guys like Cobb and Mike, who are starting at the back?
I feel like Mike's going to have a really probably have a little bit of an easier race tonight. But looks like they're actually they're away. Yeah, they're away.
Yeah, it's a long run from the last corner to the start finish line, and M. Affords has taken full advantage of that and has caught them out big time here. Look at that, Big Blue sleeping off at the start, and there's already a 3-second gap from the top two, M. Afford and Part Pooper, to the rest of them. And Big Blue here coming under massive pressure as they come down towards turn one. There's Craig here looking around the outside of Nick, and Craig trying to make it 2 moves here if he possibly can into turn one. But Nick the Villa, the company, and Nick's gone into the side there. Nick's gone into Big Blue. Oh no, and Craig there making his way through, but Big Blue there down to the back of the pack. What a horror show of a start for him. No fault of his own there. That was Nick there charging up the inside, and Nick there being sportsmanlike and waiting for him, I think. But the damage is done there.
Nick is in the center.
Oh no, there's been another collision. Thoris Deer involved in an incident. He's facing the wrong way coming out of turn 2. Was he tagged around by somebody? I'm not sure if somebody gave him a bit of a punt, but Thoris down to the back. They're taking it in turns to occupy last place spot at the moment. But Part Pooper, in the meantime, is 4.5 seconds clear. So he is now obviously managed to find his way into P1. Yeah, what's happened to M. Afford? M. Afford down in 11th.
Yeah. I'll see if I can see anything on the live action replay.
Yeah, our pole sitter's now running in 11th place, so that's not gone to plan at all there for him. But Potter Brown, John Boy is right to the back of Potter Brown here. I tell you what, John Boy's had an incredibly quick start to this race. He started in P7, he's already up 4 places. Ozzy Albie started P10. He's up in 4th, and Mike, who started in 11th, is in 5th. So lots of shake-ups here so far in this one. Craig on the back of these as well as Cobb.
It looked like he's probably got a little bit O-ring sighted going into turn 1. And he's probably got the accelerator a little bit too early. Just having a look. No, actually, no, it looks like Party Pooper just managed to catch him. No, he didn't lose it. Yeah, he lost it out of turn 1, and Party Pooper just took it and just ran away with it.
Which you can't blame him for at all, and he's currently got a very healthy lead out the front of nearly 5 seconds. So John Boy's also ahead of Potter Brown now into 2nd place. Now Ozzy trying to attack on him as well, as Ozzy's looking around the outside. Potter Brown trying to come back at John Boy though into turn 1, but John Boy's going to have that one done on the run down towards turn 2. And here goes Ozzy Albie now, trying to knock Potter Brown while he's down potentially. He's up the inside here, and that is going to be job done there for Ozzy Albie, and he moves himself through into the podium places. So John Boy and Ozzy Albie making light work of the drivers in front of him. Now Potter Brown's going to have to watch out because he's going to have Mike on the back of him, as well as Craig and Cobb. But Part Pooper has enjoyed a really sort of a stress-free start to this race, hasn't he, Emo Guy? He's just got up and gone.
Yeah, he's took the advantage that Emmaford just gave him. He stuck with him throughout the start of the race, and he just took full advantage of the mistake that Emmaford made. So he's just not looked back. He's just got to keep his head down, make sure he keeps those tyres alive.
Absolutely, we can see Mike starting to, I don't know, I'm maybe reading a bit much into it, but I think he might be struggling a bit. He's got Craig and Cobb really close to him here. It's not like Mike to see him coming under pressure. It's like usually he's the one putting pressure on the driver in front. As we see Nick the Villa and Big Blue also having a bit of a tussle here at the moment as they're going into the final sector. Smokey and not too far for them. M. Afford starting to drop off of this battle ever so slightly now, and Thoris Steer running in P12 after his spin on turn 2 lap 1. And it's not been the race at all so far for him, as Craig is almost pushing Mike along here coming down the start finish straight. Look at this. Cobb following these guys through.
I've never seen a Ginetta push a BMW.
Well, I will say that, and it looks like the Ginetta is now coming under pressure from the
A
Cobb
Ginetta.
here. Yeah, so two Ginettas there, slipstreaming each other, but obviously the one that was slipstreaming has got the pace and got the advantage into turn 1, and Cobb there moving through up into P6. In the background here, Nick Levitta's been passed by Big Blue, who looks down the inside. Can he hit with all? Big Blue there goes into the side of him there, squeezes him to the edge of the track, and there was no need for that really. Big Blue now in 8th place, but Smokey there's moved through ahead of Nick, and Nick's also lost out to Mafford there, so Nick has lost 3 places in that exchange there. And Big Blue up a position, and it looked like he moved across him going into the braking zone there.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to say definitely did move across. It was too sharp to be an entry correction or anything like that. There was definitely something.
It was a squeeze.
Yeah, it was definitely a squeeze.
It was a squeeze which ended up going a bit over the top and becoming almost a ram as they went into the braking zone. But Mike's still ahead of Craig and Cobb at the moment as they're going through the chicane. And these three are struggling to close the gap to the leaders. It looks like Mike is... I said a couple of laps ago that he seemed like he was struggling in the background. Just noticing somebody's all over the place. Big Blue there getting out of shape going through the chicane. He's now lost out to Smokey and M. Afford here. And Big Blue's now got Nick Lavilla all over the back of him, and he's letting him through. Or is he? I'm not sure. No. I thought he might be letting him through to make up for turn 1 at the beginning of this lap, but I don't know if he is.
Oh.
He is, yeah. I think he is.
No, he just lost it a little bit there. I think he might have traction control and everything else turned off, so he might be giving himself...
Oh!
Yeah.
M. Afford there losing it coming out the final corner.
Yeah, that is not a...
And Big Blue's not waiting for Nick by the looks of it.
No, that's definitely no traction control. I think he's probably just trying to give himself a little bit more of a challenge tonight.
And it's not working out so far. But we've got Park Hooper still leading the race. He's got a good gap to John Boy. It's currently 3.5 seconds. John Boy was slightly quicker on the previous lap, but not quick enough to be able to overhaul him before the end of this race. If things stay as they are, then Park Hooper will benefit from the advantage that he got at the start. Obviously, it was Big Blue who was holding the pack up. He started in P3, but Big Blue didn't react at all to M. Afford getting the race underway so early out of the last corner. That held the whole pack up behind them. So essentially, M. Afford and Park Hooper were about 3 seconds ahead going into turn 1. Then M. Afford had his spin, which left Park Hooper all by himself. He's currently taken every lifeline he's been thrown in this race and is running with it. But Mike's still defending from Cobb. Craig on the back of these as well as they go through the chicane, still as you were in this battle at the moment. But yeah, Park Hooper, you have to say, has taken every opportunity that's come his way, and John Boy trying to close the gap, but these two pretty much nip and tuck at the moment. They're matching each other. They're matching each other's every lap time. Ozzy's still ahead of Potter Brown. Potter Brown has actually closed a little bit on Ozzy over the last couple of laps, and Ozzy's not on the pace of the top two, that's for sure. But he is currently holding on to a podium place at the moment. Mike and Cobb, though, I tell you what, I expected these two to be making quicker inroads on the leaders. I'm surprised that these two are falling off of Potter Brown. They're falling away from Ozzy and Potter Brown lap after lap. They're lapping about a second a lap slower than them. They're about 2 or 3 seconds a lap slower than the leaders at the moment are these two. With Craig in tow, I wonder if they're all just battling each other a bit too much and it's slowing them down. But
yeah, I have to agree with that. They definitely. There's Mike, you just seen there the relative that makes up 1.7 seconds down on his personal best lap. So he's definitely, like you say, he's definitely struggling right now.
Mike's gone deep there going through turn 1. That's given Cobb the position, and Craig is going to try and follow him through. And Craig has got that move done there up into P6. But yeah, it just doesn't look like these guys, especially Cobb and Mike, but also Craig as well, to be fair, they're just not on the pace of the leaders at all. And you can't blame it on the Ginetta because John Boy is running in P2, currently matching Park Hooper. In fact, Park Hooper is also in the Ginetta as well. So the top two, who are showing everybody how it's done, are both in the Ginetta. So
it's not just that. Look at Spa with you. Spa is a notoriously fast track, and you still managed to win.
Spa is a notoriously fast track, but with a middle sector where the Ginetta is absolutely tailor-made for it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Also, these are the GT4s, not the GT3 Ginettas, but
it was also.
It's the same downforce, just less power.
That win at Spa at Simplay that I had in the Ginetta, it was spoken about at the time. I remember Matt waxing lyrical about it on the comms, saying it was unbelievable to get any win in the Ginetta, let alone at Spa. But I think the reason for it was because the Ginetta was so good on its tyres, so good at keeping its tyres in the right temperatures, and through that middle sector, that was exactly what you needed. And also just the nature of that middle sector at Spa, where the corners are lots of medium speed corners, where it's very flowing, just suited the Ginetta absolutely perfectly.
Plus, with the Ginetta being much lighter than the rest of the GT3s, that helped as well.
Also, what helped as well was in the first stint, I had the slipstream off of the shake and bake Porsches of Dan and D Biggs as well, which pretty much kept me with them as I was able to keep up with them, and then just got the undercut in the pit stops. That was basically how it went. It was fortunate.
But it looks like Piper was keeping that gap to John Boy. It doesn't seem to be really going up or down. Really, it just seems to be in a bit of a blank spot.
Yeah, but he's matching John. John Boy was a slightly quicker, but the lap times are dropping off bit by bit. The tyres may be starting to go off a little bit. Aussie and Pot the Brown aren't as far off the pace as they were, but they are still having a bit of a battle. They're well clear of Cobb, who's actually gapped Craig and Mike here, so Cobb now looking a bit more comfortable in P5. But I've said before tonight, Mike just doesn't seem like the usual Mike in any way. Something's clearly not right. I don't know if it's the BMW maybe.
He's also had some bad sushi.
But
you clearly didn't get what I meant by that.
No, I just
We're in Japan.
Yeah.
Sushi, Japan.
Sorry, I still don't get it.
Oh,
I'm still lost.
It doesn't take a lot, apparently.
What?
Nothing.
I'm confused. Anyway, Part Pooper leading coming into turn one. He's got 4.5 seconds over John Boy. They were still matching each other again. Part Pooper and John Boy so close in lap time. Ian's laughing at me because I don't get the joke that he just made. I'm sorry. If anybody knows what Ian's talking about.
The fact that we're in Japan, I'm using that joke in the sense that we're actually in Japan, as if we're real life in Japan, but we're not. If you know what I mean. Oh, forget it. Oh, shut up, totally, Kate. That is just not fair. I know what I'm trying to say. I know it makes sense. You're just trying to make me confused.
So Ian, at this point, do you reckon the drivers in those cockpits are going to be starting to get a bit fatigued? You know, they're going to be sweating a little bit, and obviously, because the air here, obviously we're at high altitude here. We're in the Japanese mountains.
So now you want to play that
Fuji.
game?
I think maybe the air pressure might be affecting them a bit.
Yeah, well, there is some up and down parts of this track.
It's quite undulating, isn't it?
Yeah, the elevation changes in this track. It can get quite disorienting. Depending on what you had for dinner last night, it could. Yes. It could definitely play havoc with you.
I had a pizza last night, but today I had 2 Gregg sausage rolls, so I've been pigging out the last couple of days.
I had 5 pancakes and 12 sausage rolls.
Jesus Christ. And we're both skinny fat bastards.
And now I've got 24 sausage rolls to go through tonight. And some white chocolate buenos.
I hope they're Weight Watchers sausage rolls.
Yep, they're Asda's.
Well, have fun. Have fun.
Wow.
Have fun on your diet when you eventually have to.
And I've got an Asda pizza in the freezer. And I've got 2 microwavable macaronis there as well.
What have I got in my fridge? I've got some Sainsbury's sausage rolls, not many left actually now. I've got about 20 pot noodles. Some super noodles as well. Actually, you know what? I'm actually planning on having some super noodles tonight to change it up a bit because I have too much pot noodle. So I thought, all these, this consumption of the same sort of thing is probably going to do me in. So I'm having super noodles instead tonight.
What flavour?
Turning over a new leaf. I got chicken. To be fair, it's not my favourite. My favourite's
Ah,
bacon. Bacon's my favourite.
yeah.
Bacon's my favourite, but unfortunately, the Sainsbury's keep delivering the wrong ones. So
Ah,
they keep delivering. Well, no, they can't. They keep running out of stock. So they're always sending chicken. And the problem is, there was one time where they had no chicken, so they had none of my flavours that I like. So they just sent in barbecue beef, and it all went in the bin. Because fuck that,
ah,
I'm not eating barbecue beef.
no.
It's disgusting. It is
Yeah,
grim.
the only one I don't eat pot noodles. I only eat super noodles, and I only eat bacon super noodles. Because I'm a man and men eat bacon.
The chicken ones are good. Oh, the Chinese chow
No,
mein. If you ever had Chinese chow mein,
no,
they are lish.
no, bacon.
Never had Chinese chow mein super noodles. You have not
No,
lived. You have not
only
lived.
eat bacon.
The southern fried chicken ones are decent as well. Sweet and sour.
No,
I used to have sweet and sour ones, but I went off of them.
no, bacon.
I do agree. I do like the bacon ones, but they're not the only good ones. You do have to
Oh, they are.
become cultured, my friend.
No, I'm
Live
a
a
picky
little.
bastard.
Try something different.
Well, no, I'm a picky
Your
bastard. I eat
stomach will
what I
appreciate
eat
it.
what I like.
Your
Will
taste
it
buds
buggering?
will love you for it.
Will it not? It'll end up coming back out the way it came in, or another way, not the same way I wanted it to.
It will come back the same route it came in, you mean?
Yes, or it'll come back out the other way, just not the most favourable of fashions.
To be fair though, at least your stomach will have processed it.
Yeah, but doesn't mean it'll enjoy you processing it.
Oh, it will. And to be fair
No,
though,
it
there's
won't.
no correlation between your taste buds enjoying something and your stomach enjoying it. There is actually no correlation. I'll tell you why. Curry, your taste buds will love it. Does your stomach love it? Does it fuck?
I just don't eat curry.
Okay,
I'm a,
well,
I was saying, when I say I am the pickiest bastard you ever meet, I am the pickiest bastard you ever meet. Now hold on, what has happened to Emma
no,
Ford here?
I'm learning that now.
He is he is very close to getting overlapped here.
Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it seems like an eternity ago that we saw Em Afford starting on pole here for this race.
Yeah,
Something has gone catastrophically wrong. And there is no other word for it. That is literally the only word for it.
that is Hiroshima level catastrophic.
Again, another little reference to Japan. But currently you were seeing...
That was not meant. That was not meant.
Sorry, mate, but you subconsciously said it because of Japan, and you can't even deny that. It's probably the case.
I
Probably
can't.
true.
Yeah, but I did definitely just did not. I didn't even catch myself saying it until you said that.
You have such an evil mind.
Oh,
I'm
trust me,
joking.
you want to hear the half the stuff that
Maybe
me and
I'm
my
not.
partner say.
I know. I'm so well. To be fair, if you hear him saying this when we're on a stream, then just think to yourself, what must he say in private when he's not being
Yeah.
filmed?
Yeah.
If this is what he's willing to say on a stream where anyone can watch it back, and to be fair, there's not many of us watching, but there'll be a few watching it back afterwards. So
It could be used as evidence at certain
it
points.
could be used as evidence that emo guy just doesn't give a fuck about anything.
Nothing.
If anybody wants to make a case against emo guy that he doesn't have much of a conscience, then I suppose this is it.
Hey, if I go to jail, at least I get a free room, a good few meals a day, and I
Yeah,
don't
but
have to make anything.
well,
I
to be
get it
fair,
delivered to me and
I
everything.
don't think that's a crime not having a conscience. As far as I'm aware, that's not a crime.
As if you murder someone and you don't have it in your conscience.
Well, yeah, obviously, I think we could all universally agree that's probably right. Um, where's this conversation gone? How have we ended up here? Anyway,
I ask that question to my partner quite a lot.
anyway, we've got John Boy closing the gap right now to Part Pooper. You can see here it's now only just over 2 seconds. Part Pooper was slightly quicker on the previous lap, but I think on this particular lap, John Boy has made inroads. So this could be. I mean, Part Pooper's still got a good gap, but one little mistake and John Boy's going to be there to capitalise. This race far from over.
Agreed.
Aussie Albion and Potler Brown also running quite close here as they're about to start their final laps of the race. Cobb well clear of Craig. Craig is only, well, just about over a second ahead of Mike at the moment, so that's one that we've got to keep an eye on. But Mike seems to be just a shadow of his usual self here tonight. Did he pick up damage early on? I can't work
I don't
out.
think it did.
No, I can't work out what the problem is with Mike at the moment. It just seems to be out of sorts. Catastrophically so as well.
Oh, another thing to add to the list of food that I've got a full tin of sour cream and onion Pringles.
Lovely job.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was going to go for my favourite Pringle is probably the barbecue sauce.
Nope. Our original or sour cream and onion.
Oh, Pot the Brown. That's got to have the ball. Aussie Albi at the start of the last lap here. He's made the move going to the first sector. And Aussie's trying to come
Pot the
back at him
brown.
here. Pot the
Oh,
Brown finally has
yeah.
made that move.
Oh, yes, it has.
That has been a long time coming, that one. He's been right on the back of him now for a few laps. But well done to him. But in the meantime, Popular Rex is going to come through the final few corners with a gap of just under 2 seconds here to John Boy. But I think he's just going to hold on. I think he's done enough at this point. As he slides it through the penultimate corner there. Oh, feeling a bit of nerves maybe. He's got one corner left to go and then it's a long straight up towards the line. But Part Pooper, who qualified in second place but got the lead on turn 1, lap 1 with M Afford spin, is going to come out the final corner here at Fuji Speedway to take the first win of the night here for the GT4 Championship. This is race 10 of this 45 race season, and up towards the line comes Part Pooper. Well done to him for keeping his cool, with John Boy closing the gap bit by bit, but it's going to be too late for John Boy, and it's going to be the win for Part Pooper. Over the line he comes to take it here, with John Boy over in second place. A decent drive from him, a great drive from him, but got there just a little bit too late. Pot the Brown is going to come over to complete the podium ahead of Aussie Albi, who comes over in fourth. Cobb's going to come over to take P5 here in the end, a little bit ahead of Craig, who's going to take this one in P6. Mike there finishes this one in 7th place, a few seconds clear of Smoky Devil, who's going to finish this one in 8th place. And then he's a few seconds clear of Big Blue, who's going to finish this one in 9th. As up towards the line he comes. And he's a long way clear of Nick Lavilla, who's going to come over in P10. And Thoristeer not too far behind Nick Lavilla in the end. So there's Nick over the line. Thoristeer P11 after his spin on lap 1. That really did set the tone, unfortunately, for his race here. P11 for him. M. Afford will be the last driver to finish the race in P12. And he did just start the last lap, just about.
Yeah.
It would have been close, but he just was on the last lap as the leaders crossed the line. So, yeah, here he is into the final corner. M. Afford, not been the race that he would have been hoping for after his pole position, due to the reverse grid based on the championship, but nonetheless, up towards the line he comes. But Ian, an interesting first race of the night.
Yeah. I really
Not too much
don't
went on, did
know.
it?
No, it was quite docile for a lot of the race. Most of the action did really happen on the first lap.
Yeah, definitely so. It could have been a bit different, but hopefully we'll see all the action going on the rest of the night. We're going to run slightly shorter races for the next two, because obviously we had a few problems here for the first ones. But yeah, make sure you check out the news stream. It'll be live on Discord in about 5 minutes' time.